Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing about quadratic formula and complex solutions. So let's begin. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So it's very important to put your equation in standard form first in order for you to be able to identify your a, b, and c. Okay, so our first example is 4x equals 9x squared plus 2. Please take note, you need to put the 4x on the right side together with these two terms in order for you to have your a, b, and c. So subtract 4x on both sides. So now on this side you have 0 equals 9x squared minus 4x plus 2. And so now this is your a, this is your b, and this is your c. Take note, a, b, and c include the sign of their coefficients. Okay, so now let's begin the process of solving. So what I suggest is to literally copy down your equation, so the quadratic formula. However, whenever you see a variable, you must replace it with a parentheses. This is what I mean. And so copy down all your symbols on the equation, but whenever you come across a variable, put it as a parenthesis. So this is b right here. Copy down plus or minus, copy down the radical. Instead of b, put parentheses, copy down the squared. And so this now is how it would look like. And then plug your variable, your a, b, and c inside the parentheses. So now this is how it would look like. Be cautious because the common error of kids is whenever there is a, let's say here it's the negative b, there is a negative in the front of the b really as given in the formula. Now, common error of kids is that they will decide to plug in just a 4 instead of negative 4 because, they're thinking that this is a negative. And that's the reason why we had put the parentheses first, because now in the parentheses, all you need to do is to copy down your b. So this is going to be a negative 4. Do not remove the negative because the b from the beginning is a negative 4. So that's a negative 4, and this is a, this is c, and then this is a. Negative times negative is positive 4. Okay, copy down the radical, and then negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 9 is negative 36 times 2 is negative 72. Then all over 18. So negative 16 minus 72 is negative 56. The moment the negative goes inside the radical sign, you already know that that's an imaginary number. So what I did was I copied everything down, and my negative 56 I had to separate into positive 56 times negative 1. And you know that the square root of negative 1 is an I. And so now it's going to become x is equal to 4 plus or minus I square root of 56 all over 18. And so now we can get the prime factorization for square root of 56. At this point, you may need to turn over your page. Okay, so let's start the prime factorization for 56. And 56 has 8 times 7 as a factor. Let's further factor out 8. Okay, so those that are circled are prime factors, and the 4, I put a star underneath the 4 because this is already a perfect square which we can actually get out of the radical sign. So this would look like this. Alright, so it would look like x equals 4 plus or minus I square root of 4 times 2 times 7, and again that's a perfect square which will go out of the radical and be put here in front of the I, and then the 2 times 7 will be multiplied back. Alright, so this is our answer, but notice that the 4, the 2, and the 18 have common factor of 2. And so we are going to simplify this further by factoring out the 2 here on the 4 and the 2 here and simplifying it with 18, and it would look like this. So when you factor out the 2 from 4, it will now be just a 2 here. So write down the 2 and then plus or minus, copy that down. And then the 2 here, since you factored it out, will not just be a 1i. Okay, so you know there's a 1 there. And then put here square root of 14. Okay, all over 18. And this is what I'm talking about. If you reduce the 2 over 18 by a factor of 2, then this will just become 1 over 9. And so now your answer is x is equal to 2 plus or minus I squared root of 14 all over 9. And once again, you know that that has two meanings. So the first solution is x equals 2 plus I squared root of 14 over 9. And your second solution is x equals 2 minus I square root of 14 over 9. Okay, so example number 2. Negative 5x squared equals 20x plus 32. So once again, we need this negative 5x squared to be on the other side together with these two terms, and so we're moving it to the other side. This time, we're doing a shortcut. The shortcut is, if you move this term going to the other side, the negative sign turns to positive. Like this, and then we're now able to identify our A, B, and C. Okay? This is our A, this is our B, this is our C. Again, I would like to emphasize to you that when you are getting your A, B, and C, they go with their signs. Okay? I want you to get into the habit of writing down your formula first before doing anything. So this is your formula, and whenever you see a variable, you're going to copy this down, and whenever you see a variable, I want you to put parentheses on it. And this is what I mean. So this is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now it's easy for you to get those values and plug them in. So your b is 20. This is 20. This is a. This is c all over 2a. So this is a. Now start solving. All right. So x equals negative 20 plus or minus square root of 20 squared is 400. Negative 4 times 5 is 20. Times 32 is negative 640. And then all over 10. All right. So at this point, you know that this is an imaginary number. But you want to now separate the 240, positive 240, multiplied by negative 1 so that this turns to a positive. Okay, like this. Okay? And you know that this part, the square root of the negative 1 is an I. So now we put the I in front of this radical sign right here. All right, at this point, you want to do the prime factorization for 240. Okay, I'm just kind of thinking 10 times 24 is our possible factors. And then you are going to further factor out the 10 and the 24. So these are now prime numbers. So for my 24, I have 8 times 3, circle the 3, and further factor out the 8. I'm showing a different way right now. I know that you already see the 4 and that's a perfect square, but I also want to show you what if we keep on going. What's going to happen? Okay, now for your next step, you need to circle all these prime numbers. All right, so I want you to be patient and hang in there. We're going to put back all these prime numbers inside the radical sign, but as prime factors, okay? So I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. I just arranged them from least to greatest. So, yeah, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 to the 4th power, and then 3 to the 1st, and then 5 there, and then all over 10. Okay, and then now we will look for pairs, which are actually perfect squares, and they can go out of the radical sign. At this point, you need to already flip your page. Right? So this is a 4, and square root of 4 is a 2. So 2 will now be outside in front of the I. And this is also 4, which the square root of 4 is a 2. It will also go out and be in front of the I. So in front of the I will now be 2 times 2, which is a 4. So x equals negative 20 plus or minus 2 times 2 times I square root of 15 all over 10. So let me again reiterate. The 2 here is the square root of 4, which is this one. So this one went out, it became a 2. This is also a 4 went out, became a 2. You copy the I, and then square root of 3 times 5 is 15. And so this expression now is going to be x equals negative 20 plus or minus 4. And the 4 came from 2 times 2. Copy the I, and then copy the square root of 15 all over 10. For this one, I'm going to show you another way of solving this. I will not factor out the common factor of 20 and 4, which is a 4. I won't do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this into two fractions, just for you to see another option on how to solve this. All right, so as you can see, I have separated these two terms like one single term. So that's going to be negative 20 all over 10. And then you will have a fraction here also that's going to be plus or minus this. All right, so once again, you have separated this expression into two fractions. So this is negative 20 over 10, and then plus or minus this 2. 4i squared root of 15 over 10. And then now, you can further simplify. Negative 20 divided by positive 10 is a negative 2. Copy the sign plus or minus. And the greatest common factor of 4 and 10 is 2, and you're going to reduce this fraction by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right, so your whole fraction now, which was before, all right, so your whole fraction now, which was 4i squared to 15 over 10, has now become 2i squared to 15 over 5. So let's now break this into the two solutions. All right, so your first solution is x equals negative 2 plus 2i squared to 15 over 5. And your other one is negative 2 minus 2i squared to 15 over 5. That is it for our lecture for today. I hope that you have learned a lot.